Hey, it's the Rican, and the Pandora in Chief is at it again. Happy Columbus Day, by the way, everyone. And you know what? Listen, if you want to call it Indigenous People Day, whatever, because the federally recognized holiday is Columbus Day. And Pandora in Chief could do all the pandering he wants. But because this is what he did, Biden marks Indigenous Peoples Day in historic proclamation. A proclamation doesn't make it law, which I'm sure I know, for Biden, that's hard for him to remember, considering, his mandate is just as legally binding as this is. And just so you can see a little bit of the history. Basically, Columbus Day was started being pushed for as a holiday by Italian immigrants who just wanted a day to be for their, instead of calling it, Italian Day, they just wanted to recognize the achievements of Italian Americans. You can see many. It started as early as 1866. And actually, it says here the first Columbus Day celebration took place on October 12th, 1792, in when the Columbus Order of New York, better known as Tammany Hall, held an event to commemorate the 300th anniversary of the historic, uh, excuse me, of the historic um many Italian, sorry about that, the watches and distractions. The proclamation was part of a wider effort after the lynching incident to placate Italian Americans and ease diplomatic tensions with Italy. So you can see there's a history behind this that, people just want to make it about Columbus and um, make negative of the aspects. It's always about viewing the negative aspects because the fact that um, the left, all they want to do is sow disunity. Okay, you could have Indigenous Peoples Day. Why take away Columbus Day? Why not just make it a different holiday? Why not make it its own separate holiday instead of trying to take over one holiday? Make it a different one. But this is how the left works. They want to erase history. They don't want to, they don't want you to learn history. They want you to erase history because, as much as the Europeans did negative things, Native Americans weren't saints. They were before Americans, I shouldn't say, before Europeans came to North America, Native tribes fought each other. There were tribes who enslaved other tribes. Just so you can understand the history, slavery is a universal concept. It's not just an American concept. It existed all over the world. But the left, in order to destroy this country, will have you believe America is unique when it comes to slavery. And they'll even say, they'll even make it seem like the brutality was unique to America when they totally ignored their they like to say, when it comes to like the Palestinian Israeli issue, they like to make it seem like the Palestinians, just because, oh, let's say because they think they got screwed over, they're occupying land. But the Muslims in the East African trade, you could look it up. They, they basically they cut they snipped male Africans because they were afraid of male Africans impregnating their women, as opposed to like in the Americas, because they had stopped the slave trade. They wanted males to be able to impregnate the females in order to have more slaves. That was the way they grew the slave trade, was by creating basically treating humans as livestock, which is gross, but it's still better than physically uh, disabling people, cutting off their manhood. And then there was the whole thing. We're not talking about nowadays when it's when it's safe. We're talking about a time where I forget it's the number. I think like 30, maybe 30, 30 to 40% males survived that procedure. So just like I said, so just be aware. I mean, tell your friends on the left, if you're someone, you have to have friends who lean left, and you got to try to wake them up somehow. And maybe this is a good day when they want to bring up Indigenous People Day. Let them know what they're the people who they support. Let them know, let's say, for example, how the Mayans, the Aztecs believed in human sacrifice. And that was a good practice that, if you want to talk about, we ended, ending slavery was a good practice. Guess what? Human sacrifice, ending human sacrifice was a good accomplishment. Should we be accepting of human sacrifice? So just remember that, use these type of moments, like these type of holidays, when they want to try to take over. When they want to use these as teaching moments, and be like, look, you could call it. I'm not stopping you from calling it Indigenous People Day. Knock yourself out. Okay, I'm going to call it Columbus Day. Just because the fact that's the holiday. Biden made this proclamation, doesn't change that on the Federal Register. It says that we have off of Columbus Day, not Indigenous People Day. You need an act of Congress to actually make it officially Indigenous People Day. So, spam calls now. So yeah, so that's what you have to keep in mind. Use these moments. This is the best time to try to wake people up. Is when it's stupid things like this where you could just show them simple facts. Now, granted, there are some people who are so entrenched in their beliefs that you could show them all these facts and they won't listen to it. Hey, you know what? You could take the horse to water, you can't make it drink. So just try. We got to try. We can't give up. We can't give up on our fellow Americans. We can't give up on our friends, our neighbors, our family members. Can't give up on them. We got to keep trying to wake them up. I do it all the time. These gas prices, best way to wake people up. You could just let them know, look, listen, I understand, you didn't like Mr. Mean Tweets, Mr. A-hole, but guess what? He had a better handling of the economy. We had, before pre-COVID, economy was banging. You had gas prices super low because a president does, as much as they say a president doesn't affect the gas prices, his policies do. With Biden, pushing hard on climate change, and being unreasonable about these things, we went from being energy independent to energy dependent. That's why gas prices are off the roof. When you cancel the Keystone pipeline, which would have made it cheaper to deliver oil to Texas to make the gasoline. It's still going from Canada to Texas, but now it's going by freight and by trains. And if you look at the person who lobbied to get that, I think is what's his name? It's gonna bother me. The billionaire, what's his name? What's it, Hershire? Oh man, Berkshire Hathaway. That's where it was. Warren Buffett. He's the one that has profited the most from this, from the pipeline cancellation, because he's the one that owns now the means to send the oil to Texas still, because that's still where it's going. But now instead of it going easy, there's the whole thing. These environmentalists they're not always logical. If you make the pipeline, you maintain it properly, it's less polluting if it goes underground by pipeline all the way from Canada to Texas, as opposed to taking freight, which is gas, coal. It's CO2 spewing, trucks, tankers going from Canada, waste of gas, carbon pollution. But if they were real serious, they'd be like, okay, you know what? But it's not about ending CO2. It's about us not them not wanting us to use gas. So at the end of the day, like I said, you could use these type of you could use these as teaching moments. Show how Warren Buffett is a big Democratic Party contributor, showing they try to make it always seem that the right are the people that are supported by big business. That might have been the case 20 years ago. It's not the case anymore. These as the right has let woke culture take over in college. Now these kids who graduated, where people thought they were going to get a dose of reality, no, they've changed these businesses to from the inside, and now we're suffering the consequences right now. So like I said, let's not give up on our fellow Americans, our friends and families, and try to wake them up. Use like I said, use Columbus Day as an example, give them facts, and just hope for the best. Not everybody could be woken up. So always in the Right Rican. You can follow me here on share my videos on YouTube and Rumble. The rare occasion I can't put it on YouTube, I will put it on Rumble and let you know, and link to the Rumble like I did the other day. So you can interact with me on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram. All right. That being said, have a good one.